Welcome into Trending Beats.
You might have heard me on the radio,
Coming up, our celebrities...
seen me on TV, or seen a picture of me at the Eurasian Heritage Gallery. And that has created a slight hint of an identity crisis. You see, I am a lot closer to my Asian lineage, having been born in and grown up in Asia. But this European ancestry, I know very little about. And that's what I want to discover. This is my mother's dad, Grandpa Edward Scully. His ashes are at our church columbarium. 9 years before he died, he wrote a book about his ancestry, aptly titled The Scully Book. And this book reveals that his grandfather, Robert Scully, who is Irish, built his life in Malaya and began our Eurasian line.
Do you know why he put this together?
Before he lose all his beautiful memories, he wanted to have it penned down for all of us to know where his beautiful family came from.
There's actually very little written about his grandfather, Robert.
He only met his grandfather when he was about 3.
Because he was the oldest, so all the others were too young to remember.
Edward remembers him as broad-built, 6 feet tall. Every morning he woke up at 5 a.m., attended church service daily.
Here's the birth cert.
The town that he was living in was Waterford.
In Ireland. Do you have any idea why Robert even came in the first place to Malaya?
Oh, yeah. Dad says that Robert's parents came to Malaysia on a missionary trip.
Why do you think he stayed so long, huh?
I'm curious also.
What if he was hiding here because he didn't want to go back to Ireland?
I think he was maybe trying a new adventure. That's a mystery that we have to find.
The book reveals an important clue: Robert's son's birth certificate, which places Robert as a father, married to a Catherine Goh, living in Perak in 1901. And that's where I'm heading. The capital town of this district is Taiping.
My grandfather wrote in his book that Robert awoke at 5 a.m., attended church service daily. I think I'm going to go to a Catholic church that might have been around in those days, late 1800s, early 1900s.
I want to know why Robert Scully never went back to his homeland, Ireland. I'm starting at the St. Louis Church, the oldest Catholic church still operating in Taiping. It's been around since 1897, when Robert was attending church daily.
Hello? Hi, can we talk for a bit?
Yes.
My name is Daniel.
Oh, I'm Deacon Rocky.
I'm trying to find records of my very first Irish ancestor who was here in Taiping in the late 1800s, early 1900s. Is there any way you'll have any records of people who attended Mass?
If we attend the church here, if we get married here, if they have their funeral here, they have children, they are baptized here, we have all the records.
Thank
so
you.
You can look through
Okay.
and search slowly.
I'm starting with a book of marriage certificates dated between 1891 and 1924. And the only clue I have now is that my great-great-grandfather Robert's son was born in 1901.
Daniel, son of Belinus I can't even read it. Yu and Song. Okay, whoever wrote all this stuff in pencil at the top in modern writing, thank you very much. Ramos Maria. In 1893, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There were 6 interracial marriages or Eurasian marriages in 1893. 4 interracial or Eurasian marriages in the whole of 1894. It's not common. Only 2 in 1895. I wonder if it's just too challenging to want to be in an interracial marriage. 1896, 1897, Goes Farao. Suarez Medina, Alan Fernandez, Gabriel Antonia Mal. Scully Go, 1897, 30th October. Robert Scully and Catherinium Go. Is this them? Here's our Scully signature. He's signing his Scully the same way my granddad would sign his Scully. I think this is it. I think I found it. To think that their hands were right here on their wedding day on the 30th of October. That's pretty cool. That's pretty special.
Catherine Goh, the woman Robert Scully married. There is very little written about her in the Scully book. But Catherine, by all family accounts, is a local woman. Could she be the reason why my great-great-grandfather Robert Scully stayed in Asia?
I know they got married in 1897. If she got baptized, anything before 1897. I'll just look for that. Any baptism records? Okay, 1890. 1891. 1893, no Catherine, no Scully. $1897. We're in the year of the marriage now. Gabriel, Philomena, Joseph, John, 29th October. That's the day before the... Katharina! This is it. Look at that. She was baptized the day before. Married on 30th, baptized on 29th. She really wanted to get married in church and live as a Catholic life. She wasn't born Catholic. She converted for this marriage.
Clearly, Robert wanted his union to be officially accepted by the Catholic community. But who is this woman who converted just the day before the wedding for Robert? I've discovered that my 2 times great-grandfather Robert Scully and his wife Catherine Goh got married in a church. The marriage certificate reveals in abbreviations that it was this church, the Lady of the Sacred Heart, which is currently under renovation.
This is where Robert Scully married Catherine Scully and started my whole family line. Who knows what they were up against? Because was it acceptable by society for a Caucasian expat to marry a local Chinese woman at that time? I don't know. And I was like, okay, this might be it.
Thankfully, I have the help of Dr. Matthias Wong, historian of European history.
I do wonder what life was like in that era for them, you know?
This is hard to tell. But one of the things they could have done, and a big part of the social life here in Taiping, is to walk around these gardens, the Taiping Lake Gardens. This place was set up in 1880, designed as a public park, a place of recreation for the big European community that existed here. Why are there so many Europeans in Taiping, Perak?
Yes.
Right? Taiping was the administrative center for the federated Malayan states. This is where the colonial government put most of its people and its staff. There's a bustling tin ore mining industry, so it would have attracted a lot of Chinese laborers. The railway encouraged a lot of immigration. So as the population grows, there is a need to cater to the religious and spiritual needs.
There was always this family story that he came as the son of missionaries.
Within the Irish Catholic community, they understand that there's a special place for them in missionary work because they can speak in English, so they could share this faith and minister to the Catholic populations in this region. There is a certain structural power there with being able to speak English, coming from Europe, and understanding the British imperial system.
So Robert actually would have quite a bit of authority.
That's for sure. He would have the ability to come to a park like this, to access these spots of leisure that are only for Europeans.
I learned that by 1879, the British in Taiping built their own separate enclave, consisting of government buildings, a hospital, a museum, bungalows for officers, with a main road separating the locals from the English parts of town. As an Irishman, he could have well been living in this enclave. Dr. Matthias and I head to a social club built by the British in 1885.
Okay, I'm noticing a trend with a lot of these photographs. It seems quite exclusive.
It is. This club is very much a way of bringing Europe to the tropics. So the activities, the social events are all based on European traditions and European practices.
Right. So Rob might have walked through those walls, but would Catherine have been allowed with him?
Catherine is a Chinese.
Okay.
But this club didn't allow locals, non-Europeans or even Eurasians in, until the 1960s.
Couldn't Robert have had his pick of a Caucasian bride as well?
Possibly, but single European women here, not very common. And usually when women came here, they were already part of a couple.
In terms of this interracial relationship, was it common in this area at that time?
It was probably quite uncommon because the Europeans believed that if they interacted too much with locals, ate too much non-European food, partook in their customs, then they would actually fall ill.
Gosh, if there was going to be so much upheaval in his social life, couldn't bring her to the club, why even do this?
As far as we know, Robert came here at quite a young age. He would be less wedded to sort of ideas of racial purity that were quite common in this time.
Would it be easier for him to bring home a foreign bride?
To bring back someone who wasn't European, he probably would have faced some sort of social opprobrium. Robert would have been part of a growing community here in Taiping in the 90s, where there is a hive of economic and political activity.
So it's actually probably more exciting to stay here?
Potentially.
The more I learn, the more I find that this could be a real love story. I realize I need to know more about this amazing, legendary Catherine. Who is this Catherine that swept Robert off his feet?
My mother also made arrangements for me to reconnect with my grand aunt Maureen, who lives in Perth. She is 92 and one out of two siblings of my grandfather's who's still alive.
Did you ever meet your grandpa, Robert Scully?
All I remember him is a very tall white man,
Did you know anything about Grandma Catherine Gold, his wife?
very wealthy daughter. The father was very wealthy because he's a tin miner. He was angry when she fell in love with Scully and he sort of disowned her.
Oh, so they didn't have other support?
They were alone at that time. This is what my father told me.
How did he meet Catherine?
Oh, she was an educated woman, so he must have seen her in a senior high school. Fell in love.
Are you saying she was one of his students?
How they met, I don't know. My grandfather was a headmaster in the Taiping English School. Have you been to that school yet?
Not yet. I'll see if I can find this school. Auntie Maureen, this has been beautiful.
Love you.
I love you as well. Mwah.
For Catherine to be cut off from her family and wealth must not have been easy. I wonder if Robert had the means to provide her with a good life. I head to the Taiping English School Auntie Maureen mentioned. It's one of Malaysia's oldest schools. Sivanathan Velo is a former student and a retired teacher from this school.
I think if you look at history, our school is among the first 10 schools built in Malaysia. We have been producing leaders.
Any prominent ones that we would know?
We have the first president of Singapore,
Yusof Ishak.
Yusof Ishak.
Yusof
right.
Ishak came to this school.
Yes, he was here. I found some information about your great-granddad.
Okay.
This is the book, which we call it the first 100 years of the school. You want to read?
One reason for the difficulty in enticing European teachers to come to Malaya was the extremely low pay. See, that's interesting because I was wondering whether he had a privileged life. By 1907, however, recruited to help with the teaching, and among those pioneers are Scully.
Record shows that Mr. Scully used to be an assistant teacher. You still have the salary scale.
R.F. Stainer, as the headmaster, was taking home $2,400. Robert Scully, wow, non-pensionable, $900.
Right, per annum.
Like 75 straight dollars
Right,
per month.
Per month.
That's not a lot.
I think the 75 per month, not enough for him.
Teacher and Undertaker too. What is going on? It appears that Mr. Scully was also, quote, the only recognized Undertaker.
So you have to do a second job.
Wait.
I've discovered that my 2 times great-grandfather, Robert Scully, was a pioneer at one of the oldest schools in Malaysia. But in an unexpected twist, he was also moonlighting as an undertaker to make ends meet.
This is unbelievable. No wonder, if he was earning $75 a month, I understand why he would have to do
The
this.
second job.
Here he was being called to teach because he was passionate about it. But the coolest thing is that hello gig economy. Robert Scully realized that you gotta take a second job sometimes and sold coffins. I mean, what must it have been like to be in that industry?
I'm headed to the coffin shop, Chop Wing Harp, founded in 1923. It's one of the oldest in the country. It's currently operated by Daniel Lau, the 4th-generation successor.
This was around the 1900s, 1910s. What do you do as Undertaker?
Back then, they need to provide the casket and transport the casket to the final site.
Was there a big need for an Undertaker at that time here?
Yes, because back in the 1920s, that was the Spanish flu. My aunt told me they could be sending someone to the cemetery in the morning, and by evening, they themselves get sent to the cemetery.
Oh my goodness. Was it a well-respected job?
Back then, no.
No.
It's not. It's not. It's taboo, actually.
Can you make a good living from this? In those days especially.
I wouldn't say you can be rich. You can make decent money to raise your family.
To learn what it must have been like for Robert to do this, kind of fills me with pride. I tell you, Robert Scully, in my books right now, he is the man. Hey guys, Professor is calling me. You just record this just in case. Hi, Prof.
I'm told that Professor Matthias has been at the St. Louis Church plowing through the records himself. It seems he's found something I've missed.
I'm gonna head back to the church right now.
What I wanted to show you is the baptism of some of their children. Do you remember how many children were mentioned in
I
the
didn't
Scully
even
book?
think of that. I know that Frederick had 3 sisters, but I don't know their names, anything.
The first one that comes after the marriage is a girl by the name of Cecilia Beatrice Scully, 1898.
1998. Wait, we've got Frederick listed as 1901, so he's not the oldest.
Oh, she's the first one born after marriage, yeah.
Yes.
Here we have another daughter.
Carolina Scully, 1900.
1900.
She's number 2.
The next one is a name that you will find familiar.
Hey!
Frederick Joseph Scully.
Great-great-grandpa.
The next one,
Okay.
Caroline, in 1905.
She's the youngest of the family. There is 3 daughters.
Okay, well, I found another record. And her name was Alicia.
Wait, so there's a 4th daughter?
The 4th daughter,
Alicia Scully.
I decided to have a look at another register, and that is the death register. In the year 1907, in January, daughter of Robert and Catherine Scully passed away in December, the year prior, 1906.
That's painful. Yeah. How old would she have been?
Just a few days.
Just a few days. Ah. Oh my gosh. Robert was the only undertaker here as well in Taiping, so he probably had to provide the coffin for his own daughter.
Oh, that's so heartbreaking.
Are you ready for one last
What more
piece
can
of
there be?
information?
Yes, I mean, there's more.
Here is a baptism record of a Maria, dated in 1897. So this comes
Many months before the wedding.
6-7 months before the wedding on the 30th.
Yes.
This reads, the child of Robert Scully.
I missed that. I didn't see that. Rob and Kat had a child before marriage. Did she survive?
We don't have anything in the death records
Okay.
for her.
In that year, there's no death record of Maria.
No, not in that year and not in the years after.
Okay. So she was around. If they all live, I got a lot of cousins potentially running around.
Yeah, you do. Many branches of the Scully family.
These discoveries, it's a lot to take in. Maria and Alicia, great-grand-aunts I didn't know existed. My first instinct is to head to the church graveyard. If Robert's family worshipped there, it's likely they would be buried there too. But unfortunately, the inscriptions on the gravestones are hard to make out.
I was actually hoping to see Robert and Catherine's grave, to meet them face to face, but I don't think I need to. I've met them already through their stories. I met Catherine Gold, the woman who built her life with him, leaving possibly her family behind. I met the man who said, damned with public opinion, I'm going to love who I love. He led a very localized life. It's about being there for the people that you love. And he lives on. That's it. That's Rob and Kat.